There are a few things that I love more than watching my sons play with one another. I hate watching them fight, but when they play, it's awesome. And like I mentioned during birthdays and cried through it. Today's my older son's 7th birthday. And I remember the day that I found out I was having a second boy. I remember looking at him, and he was, just over 1 at the time. And I said, "You're going to have a forever friend. You have a buddy for life now." I've started this kind of custom of putting a quote about brothers or about family on a little whiteboard, and I also put my son's spelling words on it. And I found a couple great brother quotes. One of them, sometimes being a brother is even better than being a superhero. And a good one from Dick Van Dyke: "I can't work with my brother without laughing." It's funny that something happens between childhood and adulthood that sometimes makes us, it does make us usually grow apart from our siblings in a normal, healthy way, but sometimes it even causes us to sever ties with them. And I have to imagine that it breaks the hearts of moms and dads when siblings don't speak anymore or when they're at odds. And in our first reading for today, Paul shames the people of Corinth who are suing one another before pagan judges in the Roman courts. He says, you're supposed to be sharing Christ with the world. How can you do that if you can't settle things between yourselves? How does that look to an outsider? It's 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 5 and 6. "Can it be that there is not one among you wise enough to be able to settle a case between brothers? But rather, brother goes to court against brother, and that before unbelievers." Just like I would be brokenhearted if my sons ever hated each other or ever really fought with one another, God is surely hurt when we, as brothers and sisters in Christ, can't work together for the gospel. We can't work together for the common good, when we have to tear one another down in order to feel right or to feel justified. And next time you want to take up an issue with another Christian, and usually that happens in the court of public opinion, or social media, or in a chat among friends, I challenge you to imagine yourself and that person as two kids playing together. You're in a sandbox, you're on a playground, you're loving one another. You're two siblings, two little kids loving one another, and imagine God with his arms around you. Don't walk away from that. Because that's really, truly what we are. We are God's children. Stay in that moment longer. Remain in that love and in that common bond of Jesus Christ.